All right, we have Satenik here from Los Angeles, California. Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on here and taking some time to share some tips with the trainers that are studying for their NASM exam. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Yes, it's awesome.
Okay, so Satenik, and I pronounced that correct, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I like the way
Okay.
you pronounce
All
it.
right, cool. So you just recently passed your NASM exam. You did a post, with your certificate or your passing grade, and a lot of the students will ask, like, how did you do? What are your tips or whatever? So I'm just going to ask you some basic questions. How long did you study in total for the NASM exam?
Well, honestly, it took me pretty long because it's kind of hard to have an online course and no one is there as a teacher to supervise you and have it under control. No dates, nothing. So you know that, like, okay, I have 6 months. I'll study next month. So that's how it kind of went with me. Yeah, and then when I started reading, I realized it's so hard. It's very hard for me, and English is my third language, and I don't understand a lot of words and everything. But I failed my first attempt.
Okay. When was that?
That was in December. So I extended the course, and they gave me second chance. And then until July, I was busy with work and everything. And then in the last few months, I realized, no, I gotta do this because this is something I love. And it's very important certificate, especially to start with this amazing journey. So I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Okay. So you registered, you started your study, you took the exam, you failed it, and then basically you came back and said, look, I gotta do this. And then you got down to the last 3 months and you were like, okay, this is important to me. I'm going to put the time in. Okay. So once you did, after you failed it and then you came back, how long did you study for? Let's just say during that 3 months, was it an hour a day? Was it 2 hours a week? What was your study regimen looking like?
Yeah, I was trying to study like a few times per day and not like sit for straight 3 hours and then I'm done, because it would be too much for my brain. So I was studying like 30 minutes and then break, and then maybe another 30 minutes, 20 minutes, yeah, an hour, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Were you working at this time too?
Yeah, I was always working.
Okay, so for the entire time you were working, the last 3 months, you did it sporadically a couple times, 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And how long did each study session last, would you say? Did you study for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes, and then do it again?
Yeah, 20, 30, or 40 minutes, sometimes an hour, depends on the day and me being tired or...
Okay. Now, I think a lot of people are going to wonder this, because a lot of people are, have failed it and then they're restudying right now. What did you do differently from the first time before taking the test, between that and then passing the exam on your second attempt? What did you do differently?
That would include one of my tips, that I gave it some break. And then after that break, I came back to this book, to this course, and everything started making sense to me. I realized, okay, I'm doing this, I'm reading the second time, and now I am understanding, And YouTube helped me a lot. I started watching a lot of YouTube. I used to watch before, but not every YouTube video is helpful. Sometimes it's confusing and you just don't get it. For example, with Body Design University, it was like this. I'm like, oh my God, I found this. Okay, I'm gonna see if there is another chapter. And I was so happy to see. I would just type Body Design University, resistance training, NASM resistance training, for example, and then I would have 1 hour and I would just listen. I wouldn't even type, or I wouldn't write it down. I would just listen and understand things, and then would go over the book and chapter by chapter. That's it. And that really worked.
And that was the big difference between the first time taking it and the second time. Okay. Yeah. Doug he's just got a really incredible way of explaining these very complex sciences, doesn't he? And he's easy to listen to. So really cool. So, okay. Go ahead and drop the rest of your tips that you have. So besides doing that, what other tips do you have for the people that are still studying right now, working on passing this exam?
No matter on what chapter you are, completing all the quizzes after each chapter is helpful, and completing them, like having 100% of score, like do it as many as you can to get the 100. Each chapter's quizzes, not the tests. So yeah, it was helpful. I was doing it. Somebody from the gym where I work out, one of the managers gave me this advice, and it really helped me. So I'm sharing this advice with you.
That's awesome. Okay. So what else?
Watch you guys, watch Doc.
Okay.
It's possible to sign up for your programs, because I didn't know when I was like doing this for last 3 months, and I didn't think of signing up because I was about to be done with this course and just take the exam. But if I knew before, I would definitely sign up, because it's so much easier to be teaching with someone else, with professor, with someone who can
help you through it.
Yeah, and not just you sitting by yourself with the book and with a lot of concept that you're not familiar with. Watch, study, give a break, then come back. I don't know, try to understand the most important topics and not just memorize, although there are some things that you need to memorize, but mostly it's all about you really understanding, and that way you will be great at your job. Pretty much.
Okay, those are all great. Let me ask you, did you take the exam remotely or in person?
Remotely, yeah. It wasn't in person.
Okay. Any tips for anyone that's getting ready to take it remotely?
Be ready like a few minutes earlier, because it takes time to coordinate everything, and even someone who's watching you behind that screen is also, they're going to help you, but it's pretty good to have your computer, especially your old technology, ready. And not to stress out, not to study before the exam, although I did a little. I'm afraid to overstudy, but I also did memorize or repeat some chapters before I would go to sleep. That's the way when you wake up, you remember it. I don't know. That's what happened with me.
Hey, it worked. It worked. Okay, well, fantastic. Thank you so much. Let me ask you, I know you were recently just certified, but to inspire some of those folks that are doing this in the purpose, did you start training? Are you going to start your own business? Are you getting a job? What does it look like for you in the future? How are you going to apply this certification?
Okay, so honestly, I got this bundle on NASM, which includes everything, and it includes also job guarantee and gymnership. It's when you go and practice, they find a local gym for you and everything, and they did. But I didn't need to, because I was going to my gym to work out, and I was already familiar with all the managers. And once I told one of them that I passed it, he's like, okay, I'm going to just email. And I got hired. So
wow.
I'm going to be starting next week.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Awesome news. That's really cool. Man, well, thank you, Satenik. Thank you so much for coming on today, sharing your tips and just, giving some help to the other students that are in here. And I think that, the tips that you provided both on the first time and then the reattempt, what you did differently, are going to be really helpful. So have a great weekend. And again, thank you so much for coming on here. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.